Boy, if this dude here can get these kind of chicks, we might actually be able to score someday.
Don't let no one drive my car. I ain't better seen one in this town.
Just know what's going on.
What's going on?
Alright, I want to start off by saying that Jack did make me smile once.
I put my best on, yeah, all like a grandma man.
Yeah.
All call takers are currently busy.
Hold on, I was trying to find that sound effect, and this is easily one of the most annoying things about making, besides not being able to speak, probably one of the most annoying things about video editing, knowing a sound effect and not being able to find it. And I'm watching this compilation. Is this the same road where the Call of Duty guy died?
Fart on my roommate's door.
That's crass.
I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say Jack Doherty is Gen Z's Hitler. Actually, more like Epstein, if the allegations are true. But for those,
Say the line, Bart!
fortunate enough to never have heard of Jack Doherty, good for you. Yeah! Jack Doherty is basically everything wrong with modern day influencers wrapped into one person. Egotistical, careless, using sex appeal to advertise to kids, and Diddy accusations. Oh my, Diddy allegations. Was that really the best one I could come up with? That wasn't a bit, by the way. I'm genuinely disappointed in myself. And people have talked about his pranks, how he does OnlyFans, and how his YouTube shorts are clearly aimed towards a younger audience, despite the fact that he uses OnlyFans models that he's hired to do these skits with him. But nobody talks about his long-form content, probably because nobody over the age of 10 will actually watch these without any financial incentive. And that's where I come in. I do have a financial incentive, and I will tell you about some of these videos. I'm not Quentin Reviews. I'm not gonna watch every single video and make a 36-hour video on it. I don't want to do it. You don't want to watch it. This video is already long enough as it is. But first, what's the lore of Jack Doherty? Where did the myth, the legend, the pit stain Jack Doherty start his illustrious career? Some might say it started with him selling crack, but it actually began when he was 12. Selling heroin. At the age of 12, Jack Doherty would launch his YouTube channel in 2016, uploading, well, basically anything that people thought would get them views in the mid to late 2010s.
No, oh my god, young man, kill yourself!
But you know what? Who cares? Who really cares? It's YouTube 2017, and if it's not Jake Paul drama, it's people reacting to diss tracks and then bragging about it on Twitter how they're gonna buy a car with it. Thank you all for watching. Recently, to those who are unaware, I've been accused of grooming a 15-year-old boy when I was 19. This is categorically true, and a complete...
Without knowing what Jack Doherty would become, somebody who saw these early videos would see Jack Doherty as a normal, but potentially too fame-obsessed middle schooler, and all these things he was doing to try and get attention would have been forgiven if Jack Doherty matured as time progressed, and these videos were just a old, cringy fact of his past. However, he really hasn't changed, and I think if 3 AM challenges were still popular in 2025, I mean, it's almost 2026, he would still be doing it. What watching these early videos shows me is that Jack Doherty has always been obsessed with fame. There was no innocent era of Jack. There was just an era when he was less rambunctious and unable to do as much chaos as he wanted because he lacked the funds and was, well, a little kid.
I'll tell you the story about what happened, but for now, here's a text.
I always come back.
So this is pretty much what happened when the clown texted me. I was just lying on my couch like any normal day, checking my Instagram feed, going on Asian porn like I do all the time. Whoa, no way!
About that prick's face when he saw the gat. About that prick's gat when he saw the face. Reginald Van Gleeson the third. Boy, you've got. About that prick's face when he saw the fucking.
Huh?
And what makes this even more disturbing is that Jack's parents definitely watched his videos, and whoever's holding the camera in the shot is definitely his mom or his dad. We went up to their door, knocked on it, and tried to get their attention. Obviously, they weren't very interested.
Face rain! Face rain!
I was like, oh, hell no.
Shut up. This is something that a lot of YouTubers deal with, especially ones with young fans. It makes sense for a little kid or a preteen to not see how weird it is to go up to a YouTuber's house, but the fact that his mother was willing to drive him down there leads me to my next point. This is where Jack's nature meets nurture, as it's obvious to me that Jack Doherty's mother is what the f***'s her f***ing name? She's Ukrainian. Anne Cezarja Doherty. Okay. From Poland. Poland is allowed in a group. Jack Doherty's parents are kind of interesting because his mother is from Poland and his father is one of 9 children from Ireland. And to think, these two people from completely different countries, miles apart, came together and made Jack Doherty. How beautiful. His father seems more normal, although he does sometimes engage in Jack's antics. However, his mother reminds me a lot of Jack, in the way that she also seems very emotionally detached. And she's a frequent guest and actor on Jack Doherty's channel. One of the weirdest videos I saw is one where she's pretending to not approve of Jack Doherty's girlfriend because she's too promiscuous. It's all obviously fake. I mean, why would you get mad at somebody for going outside to sunbathe in a bikini? Plus, Jack does not at all try to hide what industry he's involved in. Again, if she was really that against Jack Doherty dating a girl who's an OnlyFans model, she wouldn't even be within 10 miles of him. If you need evidence that Jack has not changed, this video he uploaded in 2019 called "I Illegally Drove Through Drive-Thrus Gone Wrong" is one of the most frustrating older Jack Doherty videos I've watched. The concept of the video is his dad teaching him to drive because at this time he would have been 16 or 17. But he manages to take this simple and potentially wholesome moment and makes it incredibly hard to watch.
We're going way too fast. This is 40 to 25.
I'm gonna get arrested.
He's constantly f***ing with his dad, not just making jokes, but messing around while he's driving to freak him out. I think this is the clearest example we have that Jack Doherty does not care about anyone or anything besides entertaining himself. He can't understand that after doing it once or twice and seeing that his dad is not at all amused, he should stop because the prank isn't funny, and he continues to do it. In one part of this video, he snaps at his dad for not correcting him when he's going 20 miles over the speed limit. Like his foot isn't the one on the fucking pedal.
We're going way too fast. This is 40 to 25. I'm gonna get arrested. You have to tell me. You have to monitor me.
You blink around. I shouldn't have to.
I can't tell if he's trolling or if he's so far gone, he thinks that if he crashed the car, it would be his dad's fault because he didn't tell him to slow down. Or he didn't realize what the speed limit was and got mad at his dad for not telling him to look out for the signs, which is the most charitable excuse I can give him. Now, I want to talk about the idea of all publicity is good publicity. This is something that a lot of people say, like, oh, well, oh yeah, this guy sucks, but you're talking about him. And yes, if this video did go viral, he could get a few more views from me talking about it. Like, for example, when Charlie talked about him getting arrested, I went on a video that was uploaded around the time that was released, and most of the people in the comments are guys saying, from Penguin Zero anyone? XD? Yeah, it's really great. It's really great that he gave him views and money. I mean, at least I'm getting money from this, right? The concept that there is no such thing as bad publicity, I think, has really poisoned the minds of a lot of young people into thinking they can get away with anything and it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, they're going to have an army of 13-year-olds who don't understand anything and are going to keep watching them. When in reality, this isn't the case. For example, I could go to a crowded mall right now and yell the N-word at the top of my lungs, and I would definitely get clipped and posted online and potentially go viral. But where do I even go from there? Yeah, I'm going to be the N-word guy from now on. Nobody's going to take me seriously. And that's the case with Jack Doherty. Despite having 15.2 million subscribers, looking at his more recent videos, you see in some cases he's struggling to reach over 100,000 views. Now, I'd say for any YouTuber, regardless of size, I understand you're going to have a lot of empty subscribers, and the minimum, regardless, should always be 100,000 to know you're at least somewhat relevant. But once you start losing that third digit, and you go down into the double-digit thousands, when you used to get millions or hundreds of thousands of views, you know you've really fallen off. Because the millions of people who are watching videos on you, making fun of you, aren't even watching your own content, and to be honest, probably want to see you assassinate.
Oh no. What a time to discover I have a hygiene problem.
So when everybody sees you as a joke and doesn't find your content interesting, you're gonna get views from hate watchers for a little bit, but if you don't do anything to try and change those people's minds or improve your content, they're just gonna leave. This is what Logan Paul was able to do after the Forest incident. He was able to convince people that he had morally changed and was a better person, but it's pretty clear now that that facade is fucking deteriorated completely. It's fucking gone, bitch. It's fucking gone, bitch. This drippy cheese smoking piece of Chicago pizza advertised his own products using his newborn child. And unless you're making baby products, that's pretty fucking dystopian. But it's not clocking in your head, Logan. You fell on it. Anyways. But obviously, for somebody like Logan, that shit doesn't clock. He uploaded a video showing he has brain damage. But there still is a market for haters, which is what lolcows usually have to deal with. But the thing is, I've seen people call Jack Doherty a lolcow, and here's the difference. Jack Doherty is not a lolcow, and it's for one very specific reason, and it's one that I brought up constantly throughout this video. Jack Doherty does not care. What is synonymous with every lolcow is that they are overly angry and obsessed with the hate they get online, which is why people come back. They want to keep getting interactions out of these people. However, Jack Doherty does not engage with haters. I don't think he's mentally capable to care, or at the very least, it's not going to affect him for very long. As far as I know, he's never really gone after the haters besides making slight offhand comments in videos, never really addressing specific arguments, and rarely bringing up the criticism he gets. And I'm not counting any interviews where he's being antagonized, because that's a lot different than him responding to a hate comment on YouTube. Another example of somebody who's widely hated but I wouldn't call a lolcow is Amy Schumer. Because again, she doesn't really get mad at people online. She stays quiet. He doesn't care. He just wants money, he just wants to mess with people, and he probably just wants to fuck, honestly. And that leads me to the next thing, his audience. What does he think his audience is? And what is he thinking by putting OnlyFans models into videos clearly geared towards children? Well, again, it's because Jack Doherty doesn't care. I mentioned earlier how Jack would still be making 3 AM challenges if it was still viral, and it's the same today. He's doing anything he can to get views, and he doesn't care about the morals whatsoever. It's been a meta for the longest time on YouTube to use attractive women in your thumbnails or in your videos to try and attract viewers. And instead of focusing on only entertaining an adult audience, Jack has taken this formula and twisted it to the max. It doesn't matter who's watching as long as people are watching and giving him views and money. And he's fully aware that most people who watch YouTube and YouTube Shorts especially are younger and also more curious about these things because their bodies are changing and there's hormones. So, infinite money glitch, I guess. I mean, it got him tens of millions of views. Getting money may seem more important than a reputation, but your reputation is what saves you in the case that something goes wrong. If you get robbed, or if some controversy goes on, you're gonna have thousands of people defending you if you're well liked, even in some cases when you were the one in the wrong. At this point, this guy could cure cancer and people would still not respect him. Going back and speaking of the age of consent, what is known as Jack is a pimp. He has a bunch of women who work under him on OnlyFans, and it's why he makes a lot of money. However, allegedly, he scouts out for these girls when they're 17, gets them on a yacht and has them sign a contract right on their 18th birthday.
Yeah, it's not normal for me. I felt this before.
Oh my god, it feels so skippity.
But now I want to talk about what the title of this video is actually about. What does this guy even upload? I'd say there's 2 eras of Jack Doherty in that there's the pre-security guard prank era and the post-security guard prank era, where that security guard prank he did, like 2 to 3 years ago, is when the wider internet learned about him and started hating him. Well, prior to that, I imagine his audience was more concealed and people weren't hating on him online. His old videos do have decent views, and because these videos are old, they probably had around the same amount of views since then, because most people don't watch really old videos like that. Even fans, most people will just go back to the first video somebody uploads and watch it and then not watch anything else. But he was pretty popular, especially for a kid who was 13. Now going to the post-prank era, I didn't explain the context of the Jack Doherty security guard prank, but what it was Jack Doherty would go around, annoy people, and then when they tried to confront him, his huge bodyguard would stand between them and Jack Doherty would antagonize him like, "Oh, what are you gonna do?"
What? Little Prop, what you gonna do? What you gonna do, bro?
You can't get me. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread fat. Can't catch me. I'm the Jack Doherty man.
I'm looking for something to sue.
Silly to have your stairs go through a dungeon, but I do. See that music? It's crazy.
Only if you can lick the peanut butter out of my toenail.
And then later on, another security guard full-on decked somebody, but that's unrelated. All this is to say, Jack Doherty has had a long history of infamy when it comes to his bodyguards. There are a few other incidents, but easily the largest, other than the prank that I just talked about, was him crashing his McLaren. Now I'm going to keep this brief because I'm pretty sure all of you have probably heard about this story, but Jack Doherty was driving his McLaren on the highway when it was raining, checking his phone, and not paying attention. He hydroplanes and crashes into the side of the highway, and while his friend is bleeding from his head, he seems more interested in recording the whole incident rather than caring about his clearly injured friend.
My car is totaled, bro. Oh my god, this is cooked.
Unlovable, unlikable, irredeemable loser.
He has no rules, no boundaries. He doesn't flinch at torture, human trafficking, or genocide.
I don't even think he cares.
Yes!
Thankfully, his friend Mike was fine. I don't know how cool this guy is in reality. I mean, he hangs out with Jack Doherty, so he probably isn't that great, but he doesn't seem as rambunctious as Jack. Maybe he's just being hired as a cameraman. When I don't have context, I just cut people too much slack, honestly. I don't like being that guy who bangs something against the student's table because he fell asleep, and then the principal tells me the kid has narcolepsy. Editor's note, why did I humble brag like that? That's so gay. This was the moment that showed how content-brained Jack Doherty was. When his friend, or at least employee, was clearly injured, he was more concerned about the shot rather than his friend's safety. Now we go on from then, and there's been some arrests. Recently there's been an arrest about drug possession. He had some fallout with his girlfriend. Do you really want me to talk about his girlfriend? Do you? It comes down to she didn't like him, he's psychotic, and they broke up. That's it. I stay up the whole night through, trying not to think of you. I watched too much Jack Doherty. I'm going insane. This is still 17. Fuck! And now it's time to talk about his OnlyFans content.
And I get my kicks out of blowing the tricks of occasional casual friends.
It's not even big! Is that my Crazy Dave impression?
What?
Well, it is finally time to talk about his recent content. Yay. Let's peep this out. The first video I want to talk about is his third most recent. It was uploaded November 24th. From looking at it, it's a typical clickbaity Jack Doherty video of him doing something stupid. And it may not seem odd, or more odd than Jack Doherty is by default.
You got me this right here at Super 5.
Until you hear this one line.
Alright guys, so today's my 22nd birthday, and
Jack mentions that it's his 22nd birthday, but he was born October 8th, and this video was uploaded November 24th. This was right after he was arrested, so maybe that's the case. Maybe he couldn't film a video for that week, so he used a burner video that he didn't plan on uploading instead. Who knows? It's not like I'm gonna interview him in real life. Unless... Jack Doherty, if you do not allow me to go down to your LA apartment and steal all your
Legal
marijuana,
substances.
I will draw you rimming Hillary Clinton. You've been warned. Anyways, Jack Doherty fell on his ass. Great video. I liked it. I think you can now officially call me a member of the Jack Doherty Army. Now, World of T-shirts in the world of lolcows is a unique case because unlike a lot of other people who were already creeps or weird or kind of deserve the hate online that they get, kind of like King Cobra, who was just weird and didn't really do anything besides be gross to get hate online, World of T-shirts became a lolcow because people online bullied him for being autistic. He may have some other mental conditions as well. Since I've heard his brother does have schizophrenia, and his family might be prone to mental conditions. But regardless, World of T-shirts started off as a pretty wholesome creator. However, it all went wrong when somebody decided to trick him. Joshua Block, when he was at the peak of his wholesome popularity, lived in New York, and when people approached him, he would do videos for them, and the cost would be like $40, $50. Now that's pretty extreme, but then again, this is a guy who probably can't hold a job because of his mental condition. He doesn't have any family members who are willing to take care of him, and it's a treat. You're meeting a celebrity on the street, and you're helping a guy out. I don't really see a big issue with it. I don't think he's being super greedy. Somebody decided to mess with him and gave him a dead fish and told him to stamp on it and then say, "Here's your tuna salad." This was all done to make him look bad, and he ran off without paying him. If you were on the street broke and somebody came up to you and is like, "Hey, you want to stomp on this dead fish for $40? Be real with me. It's very similar to that one scene in Breaking Bad where those two kids trick Walt's son and he gets arrested. People who are not neurotypical, especially as non-neurotypical as Josh, are more susceptible to being manipulated and tricked into doing things, and I don't see him as responsible as somebody who's fully neurotypical. This led to a bunch of harassment, and unfortunately, he started getting managers who would continue this abuse using his condition and tricking him to make money. Wow, guys, you really defended a noble cause by getting mad at him over stomping a fish, leading him into a cycle of alcoholism, abuse, and mental torment that has led him to abusing himself and the people around him. You guys really are the moral compasses of the world, and you've done a lot to improve people's lives. Go fuck yourselves. What I see when I look at Joshua Block is somebody who's very scared and confused. Being on your own and alone is already stressful enough for neurotypical people, but have that on top of people online constantly harassing you and even going up to you in public and making fun of you, along with his mental condition, which makes all these things 1,000,000 times worse. Alcohol is the only thing in his life that makes things make sense, or at the very least, dulls him enough so that he's not stressed. He also probably feels trapped in this career because of his alcoholism. He stated in the past he can't go a few hours without a drink, and a regular job could never afford the amount of alcohol he thinks he needs to consume to get by on a daily basis.
I can't f***ing believe it. Like mustard. I want to go out and have drinks.
Shower, get changed. By the time you're
bro, let me tell you something. Josh can drink.
Yeah. He's an alcoholic.
Yeah, bro, Josh, I need your tolerance. Is a party animal. He is. Get him in a frat.
Don't wish you had what I have. When I don't drink, I shake.
Oh, no.
Does that feminoid have to be here?
Excuse me?
Feminoid. Void. Tell her to get out.
I mentioned earlier that he has managers, and what I mean by that is random guys, usually middle-aged, see him online and say, "Hey, this is an opportunity for money," and they'll invite him to a place to stay, stream with him, and split some revenue, while also continuing to fuel his addictions. One of these people is Mr. Based, someone who is well known in New York for being a pimp. I mean, look at this guy in court. How much more f***ing smug could you be? When asked about what he thought about Joshua's alcohol addiction, he said he's gonna die if he keeps this up, but he also doesn't seem to care. We're really talking about a lot of great people in this video, aren't we? And the messed up thing here is, I honestly think Jack Doherty so far is the best manager Joshua has ever had. I mean, this guy has the most money, the best house, and even the island boy. I don't know which one of the two this guy is. He gives Joshua solid advice about quitting alcohol and going to the hospital and getting therapy.
Josh, you better figure it out very quick. Come on.
Leave me alone.
I'm not doing nothing to you.
I'm sick.
Sick from what?
I don't know.
I told you if you keep drinking, you're gonna get cirrhosis.
I don't know what's going on.
If you keep drinking, you're gonna get alcohol cirrhosis. Hey, stop drinking, bro.
If you're homeless, just buy a house.
No.
Josh, why don't you find a psychiatrist and find the right person to medicate you instead of you drinking alcohol? You might need Vivitrol. Josh, we have to go to the experiment.
Like, just please, Lord, Just shut the fuck up.
And also, at the very least, these are people around his same age. They're also much more wealthy and have more status. And I know it sounds like I'm glazing them right now, but his past two managers were two middle-aged degenerates, so it's not a very high bar to pass. I'm saying all this to talk about how sad that is. So far, the best caretaker that Joshua Block has had in the past few years since his dad abandoned him. His mom died when he was 14. Just think about how insane that is. The most solid advice I've seen somebody give him in real life about quitting alcohol is from the Island Boys, who he met through Jack Doherty. What universe are we in? There's actually a pretty large amount of videos where Jack is collabing with Josh, and I think it's probably because Josh's audience is more interested in Josh than Jack Doherty's audience is interested in him. So there's a viewer overlap. And even though I've said all these seemingly nice sounding things about that group, it's just more proof that Jack Doherty is soulless. On top of all the other things I've talked about, he's been baiting a heavily autistic man for content. This video I watched here is the one time I've ever seen Jack Doherty do something morally right, and it's when he hides Joshua's alcohol. That's honestly impressive. After 2.1 thousand videos, finally, for once in this brief section, he did something right. And it was probably only because Jack was tired of Joshua being too drunk to make content. What we have here is truly an amazing specimen. I've been yapping about specific things happening in these videos for a while now, but now I need to talk about the pacing and what this long-form content actually is. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I have a guilty pleasure, and that's prank YouTubers. And even though I would say when it comes to the pranks that I laugh at, they could be seen as a bit demented, the kind of stuff that Jack Doherty does is just not funny. What I mean by that is when I'm watching these videos, it feels like he gets a group of people and it's like, what are we gonna do today? Oh, let's just go to the mall and fuck around. And that's all that happens in the video. That's the full extent of the content. Although I will say I was honestly surprised by how coherent this Island Boy was. I always assumed they were complete airheads, but if you didn't know what this guy did, and he didn't have face tattoos, you'd assume he's a normal guy. Also, I think part of this is because I don't like vlogs in general. I've never been entertained by them. But honestly, after thinking about it more, he kind of reminds me of, I guess, what the low gangsters would call peak Logan Paul era, aka 2017 when he was vlogging, you know, right before the thing that happened. So it's kind of sad to see Jack go down all these degenerate rabbit holes when he could actually capture an audience of young kids just by making normal vlog content. But instead, he's gone out of his way to be rambunctious, like I've said in the past, like a fag. And now he's gotten arrested multiple times, and eventually he's gonna get multiple years in prison. This guy has been given so many chances. The first time he messed up, all he had to do was only make vlogs, and he could have made decent money. But instead, he decided to F around and find out. Now, I want to end off by bringing back my point about how there's no bad publicity. We looked at his views earlier, but we didn't look at his comments. And the comments are where you really get to see where the mindset of the fans are. And you'll notice that you have to scroll down for a while before you see any positive comments. Jack Doherty's behavior is the result of this mindset. But unfortunately, the mindset won't prevent you from getting arrested. And eventually, as people keep going further and further, inevitably, it's going to happen. And on a similar note, why is this guy not banned? He's promoting adult content on the site to kids. He uploaded a video where he crashed his car being an irresponsible driver. He constantly harasses people. Why YouTube wants this guy even up anymore makes no sense. It's not even like Jake Paul, where even though he was hated by a lot of people, he was a huge breadwinner for the site. So it makes sense when you switch off the moral part of your brain and switch on the corporate side. But Jack Doherty, as you can see, doesn't get very good views. Out of all the long form videos he's uploaded this year, or at least in the past 11 months, none of them have reached over 1 million views, with the most viewed video having 954,000 views, uploaded September 2nd. The amount of revenue YouTube is generating from this guy cannot be worth keeping him on the platform. And now that he's in legal trouble and could potentially face 7 years, now is the perfect time to ban him, because that's going to be 7 years of no content. That's all I wanted to talk about today. If you get anything from this video, I want it to be that there was no old era of Jack Doherty. Jack Doherty has not changed that much. He was never a better person or an innocent kid. He's stayed mostly the same emotionally and mentally since he was 13, minus the stuff on OnlyFans. for obvious reasons. And we need to stop watching people who try to use bad publicity and annoy people to get popular. If we just looked at them and didn't give them any attention, then that would be way more insulting than going onto their comment sections and calling them stupid, because they're not going to read that. They barely have the emotional capability to care about what you're saying. And I personally don't feel bad about making this video because he could be arrested, and also I'm making money myself, so it's different. But regardless, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. This was a bit of a long rant, but hopefully, despite how infuriating these streamers are, me talking about it was at least somewhat entertaining. And if you didn't like it, I don't know, just go watch The Amazing Bulk.
What the hell is that?
Well, it ain't Barney the Purple Dinosaur!
Remember to subscribe to the Mr. Epic on YouTube.com, and I will see you next time.